There is still great uncertainty about how the virus will reshape our society in the coming years. But there is no doubt that COVID is the most serious crisis the world has faced in a long time. The virus has already changed our world, and we have to be prepared for more changes to come. And I think it's useful to think of these changes over different time frames. For this year, and maybe a good part of next year, we must be prepared to continue living in an acutely changed world, meaning the rules around wearing of masks, upholding of safe distancing measures, and avoiding crowded places. These will continue to be part of everyday life. Beyond that, the availability of COVID-19 vaccinations will progressively restart global travel. But getting the world vaccinated won't be quick or easy. It will take time for vaccines to be manufactured and distributed, and even longer before the world gradually builds up immunity. In Singapore, we plan to have all our residents here vaccinated by the third quarter of the year if all goes well. But there is still a lot of uncertainty over the duration of protection following vaccination and whether vaccinated individuals can transmit the virus. Early data from some countries like Israel suggests promising results with the vaccine, but we will still need time to look at all of these critical unknowns and to resolve them. And we may well encounter some bumps along the way. For example, the current vaccines may not be so effective against new mutant strains of the virus. Indeed, there has been initial research suggesting, for example, that the South African variant can evade the defenses that vaccines build in our body's immune system. The pharmaceutical companies are confident that they can respond to this threat, but that means adapting the vaccine, getting regulatory approval, and ramping up manufacturing all over again. In the positive scenario, this means the vaccine becomes a bit like an annual flu jab. We need to keep on getting one, perhaps on a regular basis. Or perhaps we develop a vaccine that works for all strains. But in the worst case, we end up always a step behind the evolving virus, and we will not be able to catch up in time. So there are still tremendous uncertainties ahead of us. And the bottom line is that we live in a shared world, and no one is safe until everyone is safe. Of course, no pandemic goes on forever. At some point in time, the pandemic will pass. But it may take 4 to 5 years before we finally see the end of the pandemic and the start of a post-COVID normal. What will this new post-COVID world look like? No one can tell.